Hello, my dears. My name is Joanna, and I welcome you to Johanna Draconis, the Deconstruction of C-PTSD podcast. In this episode, we will talk about a statement I hear all the time. But I'm totally fine. I am not crazy. And, in case of PTSD, I don't have flashbacks. Usually coming from someone who is not totally fine, and many with PTSD don't have flashbacks. So I understand why people say it. There's a fundamental misunderstanding about mental health and how a mentally healthy person is like, which is rather important to know if it is what you are aiming for. So let us talk about it. But before that, I once again apologize for my voice in advance and the delay. First off, I want to say it is completely understandable to be at least confused about the whole situation. There are so many opinions out there, ranging widely and contradicting themselves, and even professionals are sometimes decades behind with their knowledge. The core issue, of course, being that mental health isn't something you can measure, like your blood sugar level. You can't say this amount is fine, but below X amount or above X amount you are in trouble. It is this invisible wobbly mess. Even I, to this day, struggle sometimes to properly explain what I mean by it. It took me also way beyond me being cured from my PTSD to fully understand it myself. So I completely understand the confusion and the frustration most of all. Which led me to come up with a model to explain first how your mental and physical health are connected and how they escalate. We will talk about setting up the model, then how crazy it looks like with it, and then we end with bad childhood influence. We start with explaining the model and the body and mind interaction. The model I choose is a company, and you are the boss of this company. The company fits neatly in one building and has many departments full with workers. You sadly can't really leave your office, so you are dependent on the managers of their departments to give you a good analysis of what is going on. That is a visualization how our brain interprets the world around us so that we can understand it. While you can give those managers instructions, it is almost impossible to control every aspect. Therefore, you redirect it. You can give orders, but the more detailed, the harder it gets. You just have so many workers and tasks happening at the same time. The equipment is your body, and the work environment is your mental health in this model. If the equipment is in bad shape, that leads to bad work environment. And bad work environment leads to your equipment to be bad. All your workers are the processes in your brain that are happening, and that sets up our model. Now, what most associate with being crazy in the context of this model is basically the end stage. You lost control over your company. Your manager don't give you reliable information on what is going on, and therefore you don't know where you are, be it time, place, or other people. Also, this leads to trouble within the company itself. Your orders get diluted, misdirected, or just end up nowhere, which leads to different departments not working properly together and leading to more and more failures. Like you say you want 50 copies, but instead you get a coffee. You lost control over your workers and you can't interact anymore with the world around you properly. Do your message come through? Are those messages truly from the outside? To summarize, the more we lose touch with where we are and what is going on, the more we spiral until it becomes basically impossible to find the way back to reality without outside help. But that is not where we start, that is where we end up. How can we end up there? And more importantly, how can we avoid that? The first factor we represent is bad child influence. Be it the parents, situation, or whatever, with Betty. Now, Betty is the kind of person who cheers everyone up by leaving the room. She will nag and push until she gets her way, and then she will continue non-stop. She will also try to get control over the hiring process to ensure more like her are hired and continue to take more and more control. They slowly but surely are tanking the company, if not stopped. It needs to be kept in check and best to fire Betty and her gang. But the problem is that Betty itself is rather low-key and usually been there a long time before change becomes noticeable. You really need to check the books if you want to catch her. It's hard to know that a segment is running badly if it never was running good. Despite the company running mostly smoothly, it would be still considered mentally unwell, as it is a great detriment to the company, work environment, and sometimes equipment. Unwell doesn't mean the place is on fire, but that things are not going well. Also, this opens up the room for saboteurs, bad deals with other companies, and other chain reactions, which we get into next episode. That was it for today's episode. I hope you found it helpful. Hope you are safe and well. And, as always, if you have any questions or feedback and the like, please let me know at contactme@johannadaconis.com. More information and transcript you can find, as usually, under johannadaconis.com/podcast/ and links are in the description. I hope to see you next time. Watch yourselves and have a wonderful time.